Hello everyone, Melissa here. Welcome to your Melissa Moments. You guys, I just want to talk a little bit about my bariatric journey. As you know, I'm going to kind of give you a breakdown of what I experienced when I first got to the hospital and that kind of thing. Okay, so this video is primarily going to be me talking. Um, Sorry if that's boring, but I have a lot of information I just want to give you guys. So this was my experience, don't forget. My surgery was in Regina, Saskatchewan. I live in Saskatoon. So it's about a 2.5 hour drive to Regina. And I got a phone call, I would say, on the Friday before my surgery. So my surgery was on Monday, April 25th. I got a call the Friday before from the hospital, basically just going over everything I needed to know. So at this point, I'm currently on, at this point in time, I was on a what they call a high protein liquid diet. You need to be on that for 2 weeks before your surgery. The purpose of this is to shrink your liver down because your liver is kind of um, on top of or over your stomach. So they don't want to accidentally cut or nick your liver. So by going on this liquid diet, it actually kind of shrinks your liver down so it doesn't block your stomach like it normally does, which means there's less chance of them making a mistake or doing something they shouldn't. So that's why the high protein liquid diet is very necessary. So when the nurse called me, she just confirmed my surgery date was Monday, April 25th. She confirmed that I needed to be at the hospital at 6 a.m. and my surgery was going to be at 7:45 a.m. So based on that, my husband, myself, and my daughter drove to Regina the Sunday before and stayed in a hotel that night so I could be at the hospital bright and early. She also told me that I had to stay on this high protein liquid diet. I could continue to have my protein shakes and all of that right up until the night before. And I could have water or clear fluids up to 2 hours before the surgery. Excuse me. So this is what this nurse is telling me, which was fine. She also reminded me to make sure that I don't have in any piercings, because you're not allowed to have piercings in when you go for surgery. She also told me if I wear glasses to bring an eyeglass case, as well as if I had, any dentures or anything like that, to bring appropriate cases for those to go into while you're in surgery, that kind of thing. And then she said the surgery takes about 3 hours. You're in recovery for about an hour and a half. And then they move you into your hospital room and you will be in the hospital for 3 nights. And then you will be discharged. She also told me directions on how to get to the place in the hospital. I did not have to go through admitting in the hospital because this was in day surgery. So I didn't have to go through admitting. So she gave me directions on how to get to the floor and that kind of thing. So as I said, we went early, a day early, and stayed in the hotel. Another thing they tell you is either the morning of or the night before surgery, they want you to wash your body and your hair with a unscented soap. Very important, it's unscented. They don't want anything to be mixing with stuff in the surgery room that could cause a complication or something like that. So I did. We stayed in the hotel room. I did on a previous video show you I bought an unscented I think it was Dial brand body wash. I used that for my hair and my body. I did that the night before. And then what I did was I once I was done showering, I brushed my hair, I put it back in a ponytail, and then I actually braided my hair, and that's how I went to the hospital. I highly recommend, if you have longer hair, to put it back, at least in a ponytail, if not a braid. You definitely can brush your hair and stuff when you're in the hospital, but chances are you're not going to, and it just helps to maintain your hair a little bit. So we woke up early. Well, not too early. The hotel we were staying in was literally a 4-minute drive to the hospital. So I think we woke up at 5:30. My husband and daughter drove me to the hospital, which was nice. So we woke up at 5:30. Do not wear any makeup. I know it sounds strange that you're like, well, yeah, why would you wear makeup? You would be surprised how many people show up for surgery with like a full face of makeup. It's ridiculous. So no makeup, don't put on deodorant, don't put on perfume, body mist, like no sense whatsoever, not even deodorant, like just don't do it. Make sure all your piercings are out. I left my nose piercing in until that morning because my nose hole grows in really quickly. So I left that in right until the morning. I took a little Ziploc baggie with me to take it out and put it in there so I didn't lose it. So they dropped me off at the hospital. I followed the directions she gave me up to day surgery unit. They were ready for me. I checked in. Like I shouldn't say they were ready for me. When I got there, there was a little waiting room. I sat down. There was 3 other people waiting, and the nurse came and she took one like right away. And then the nurse came and took another gentleman. It was surgery for him, and it was his wife that was with him, took him back right away. And then they came and got me. And honestly, it wasn't that long. I didn't wait there that long, maybe 5 minutes. So they took me back. I had my own little kind of room with my own bed on the outside. They actually had my name and everything already written there, all ready to go. Like they were on ball. They knew what they were doing. Really nice nurse, super nice. She had a whole big binder, like a 3-inch binder, and it was just me. It was just me in this binder. It was like all my paperwork, all my everything. She had to go through and ask me like a whole ton of questions. Like she went through my whole health history. Do you have any issues with anesthetic? Do you have any issues with surgeries? Like she went through everything, asked me about, medications I was on, any diseases I had, things that ran in my family, like the whole thing. Very thorough. I had to sign a bunch of stuff basically saying if something happened and I died or something, I wouldn't sue the hospital. Like there was lots of paperwork to sign and things like that. They took my weight, they took my height. And then she gave me a gown to change into. She told me putting my hair in a braid was a smart idea. She's like, smart for you to do that. Excellent. The whole thing. She asked about piercings, asked about tattoos, asked about nail polish. That's another thing. I have nail polish on my toes, gel polish, but I left my nails without polish specifically, and that's always a good thing. So you don't necessarily, like if you have gel nails or something like that, it's not the end of the world, but it's preferred, I guess, if you just have natural nails with nothing on them. It's preferred, but not a big deal if you have gel nails. Like don't feel like you have to go get your gel nails off to get surgery, at least here anyway. I mean, I guess everywhere is different, but here that was kind of the rule. So that was all fine. I did tell her, I said, sorry, I should put a TMI warning on this. We were talking about surgery and bodily fluids and things. So I did say, I do have my period right now, currently wearing a tampon. And she was like, okay, just so you know, that's going to have to come out before surgery. And then she gave me options. She goes, so we can either give you a mesh underwear with a maternity pad that you can wear, but when they take you in for surgery, they will cut it off of you, or we can just put like a pad underneath you. And because I have an IUD, my periods aren't like full on periods. So I'm like, you know what, I'm fine without. And she goes, okay, we'll put a pad underneath you. I'm like, yeah, I just want you to be aware. So that was fine. Um, I also had um, because afterward in recovery, a few days after surgery, they want you to start on your protein shake again. And I don't drink cow milk. I'm a vegetarian. So I made it very clear to about 8 people at this point, including this nurse, that I needed a dairy-free milk. And she made a note of it, said, not a problem. We'll let the kitchen know. We'll have it ordered on the day that you're starting your protein shake. Everything's fine. She asked if I had any questions, anything like that. I didn't. They give you the little booties for your feet. You take everything off. Like, you take everything off. Nothing stays on. Everything off. Give you the gown. Opens to the back. Booties on the feet. She kind of came and she tried to put an IV in this hand, but she kind of ran into some issues. So she's like, you know what, we'll just let them do it in the operating room. It'll be fine. I'm like, okay, sure. So she attempted the IV, but it didn't work. I had, in the room I was in, I had like an adjoining bathroom with the patient in the other room, which was fine. So I did say to her, I'm like, can I use the washroom before I go? Because in some surgeries, they will insert a catheter. Now, if you don't know what a catheter is, it's basically a tube that they insert into your urethra. So when you have to urinate, it goes through this tube and into a bag. Just makes things more cleanly, right? Because when you're under anesthetic, you really don't have control over your body. Some surgeries, they give you a catheter. They did not give me a catheter for this surgery. I did not have a catheter at all. So I had said, can I use the bathroom before surgery? She goes, oh yeah, no worries. You'll hear over the loudspeaker. They will call you when it's time for you to go to the surgery room. So when you hear your room number, and I think I was in room, I think I was in room 10, I think is where I was. Was I in 10? I can't remember what room I was in. But anyway, she goes, just use the bathroom then. I'm like, okay. So I didn't wait very long. They said my surgery was going to be at 7:45, but it was about 8:05 when I heard them call my room number and said, room, whatever it was, ready for surgery. So I was like, okay. So I went and used the bathroom. Then she came, she gave me a little hair net to put over my hair. I stayed in the hospital bed, and another, I don't know if she was a nurse or an orderly or what, I don't know, she came to take me to the surgery room. So she, I mean, so many hallways and they all look the same, right? So they gave a big binder they put on my bed, like on my legs, and taken me down to the surgery room. I think at this point they had taken my glasses off, if I remember correctly, and I am blind without my glasses. I can't see anything. So taking my glasses off, and then she took me down to the surgery room. She kind of parked the hospital bed outside of the operating room, and the operating room was busy. There was like at least 8 people in there, all doing things, moving around, like it was nuts. While I was sitting in the hallway in this hospital bed, a nurse came over and another student came over, and introduced themselves and said, we're going to be in the room with you, blah, 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 blah. Just want to introduce yourself so you can, kind of have a face kind of to know what's going on. And I had made a joke about not being able to see because of my glasses, and everyone had a laugh, and it was all good. And then it was time to move into the operating room. So they had asked me, they were like, do you want us to take this bed into the operating room, or can you walk? And I said, oh, I can walk. It's fine. So I got out of the hospital bed, and then I walked into the operating room, got onto the operating table, laid down, and like immediately everyone's on you, so everyone's introducing themselves. Hi, I'm blah. Hi, I'm blah. I'm blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And someone's taking my arm over here, and they're getting my blood pressure, and someone's taking my arm over here. And this one, they actually put an IV in. I don't know if you can tell or if you can see, I've got a little mark there. They put my IV in the side of my arm, which I don't recommend. It's very painful there because, your wrist moves and stuff. It was not great. but they used an ultrasound to make sure it went in properly, which I guess is better. So they are putting the IV in, they're taking my blood pressure, they're talking to me, they're cracking jokes, you know, because I mean, I guess surgery, a lot of people are nervous. So they're trying to crack jokes and ask me questions and all this kind of stuff. And this is where I first met the surgeon. Now, I had first met the surgeon back in 2017 when I first went on the wait list for bariatric surgery. So this is the second time I've met him since then. So he came, he's like, "Hi, Dr. Pooler. Nice to meet you. Going to do surgery today. Everything looks great, blah, blah, blah." They had talked about putting in a second IV line. I guess this is common practice, just in case one fails or something. But they were like, "No, she's really healthy. I don't think we need to worry about that." So thankfully, they did not put in a second line because honestly, for me, the IV is the worst part. I hate the IV. It's worse than the surgery, to be honest with you. It's horrible. So anyway, at this point, they put oxygen on me and they made it very clear this is just oxygen. We're not putting medicine in yet, just oxygen. I'm like, okay, everything. And the surgeon's asking questions. They're like, yeah, everything looks great. Everything looks perfect. Everything's fine. All good. Oh, I should back it up. When I first checked in, another thing they did do is I had to do a urine sample because they had to do a pregnancy test to make sure I wasn't pregnant. So that's another thing they did do. So they put the oxygen on me, and you know, normally, like this will be my fourth surgery, and all the three before, they always say, okay, count back from 100 when they start giving you the sleepy medicine, right? They didn't do that this time. They were literally just talking to me and asking me questions, and they must have gave it to me because the next thing you know, I'm waking up in recovery. Like, that was it. That was it. So apparently the 3-hour surgery happens, and I honestly, I don't remember a darn thing. That's what's great about anesthetic. I woke up in recovery. I wasn't even that groggy. I was I mean, you're waking up, so you're kind of groggy. Honestly, I didn't really have any pain. They always say on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain level? My pain never got over a 4, and even then, it wasn't pain. It was just, it felt uncomfortable. It felt like just bruised, you know, tender. It didn't hurt. There was no actual pain. My back, however, that was a 10. Back pain like crazy. Now, I have back issues to begin with, and I never thought about it beforehand, but I was literally laying on the table for 3 hours and then in recovery for an hour and a half on my back. My back is excruciating pain. They continued to give me medicine. They gave me things such as Gravol because you can get really nauseous with this surgery. I mean, they're in there in your stomach, right? Like they're jostling things around. You're probably going to get nauseous. So they give you Gravol. Dilaudid is the painkiller of choice this time round. So, excuse me, Dilaudid, and that was all going through my IV. So I honestly don't remember a whole lot when I woke up from surgery, really groggy. I slept a lot. Somewhere between waking up in the recovery room, I got to my actual room. I don't really remember when or how I got to my actual room. I was in the bed the whole time. Thankfully, I had a room all to myself, which was great. And I pretty much slept that whole day. So this was Monday, May 25th. Pretty much slept the whole day. I had my own room, which was nice. Nurses would come in and, you know, do vitals and stuff every once in a while. And that was kind of my first day of surgery. So I'm going to kind of keep this short. I just want to talk about kind of the first day and let you know kind of the procedures and how they did things. But yeah, I mean, everything went great when I woke up, from what I remember. They told me, you know, everything went great, no complications, everything looked great, everything looked great. So that was all good. They do call your, whoever your next of kin is. For me, it was my husband. They called him, when I got out of surgery and in the recovery room. They called him to let him know that things went well. And then they called him again when they moved me into my room to let me know what room I was in, what floor I was on, all that kind of stuff. This was at the Regina General Hospital. I ended up on floor 6A, and I was in room 7, lucky 7. So yeah, and they called my husband to let him know that. So that was all good. I did have like my phone and stuff there as well, although I don't remember getting it on day 1. Um, yeah, I don't really remember. Like I said, still in and out of sleeping and anesthetic. But that was kind of my experience there. I'm going to cut that off for now on this video, and then I'll come back later and talk more about kind of day 2 and day 3 and talk about that. But that was my experience for surgery itself. It went really fast. I don't remember any of it. And yeah, I woke up feeling pretty darn good, to be honest with you, aside from the back pain, which was horrendous. But yeah, so that was it. If you guys have questions, please write them below. I do answer all questions. And like I said, there will be more videos coming up. So please, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do. You're not going to want to miss this journey. I promise you that. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.